On July the 26th, at the initiative of Volodymyr Zelensky, a meeting of the Ukraine-NATO Council was held to hold urgent consultations on the security situation in the Black Sea region after Russia's withdrawal from the grain agreement. Within the framework of the Ukraine-NATO Council, the parties agreed to take measures to counter Russia's food blackmail and its attempts to abdicate responsibility for the aggravation of the global food crisis.
Russian attacks against our ports have been clearly condemned at the alliance level. We discussed what specific actions can restore calm and predictability to the Black Sea region. I thank everyone for the meaningful work of today's Ukraine-NATO Council.
On the eve of the meeting of the Ukraine-NATO Council, Romania joined the security guarantees for Ukraine. At the NATO summit in Vilnius, 8 member countries of the alliance joined the G7 declaration.
The heads of Romanian and American diplomacy discussed the latest developments in the Black Sea, including the effects of the Russian Federation's decision to suspend participation in the Black Sea Grain Export Initiative. During the discussions, Minister Luminița Odobescu informed about Romania's decision to join the G7 declaration in support of Ukraine, presented on the sidelines of the NATO summit in Vilnius. From a press release by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Romania.
While Putin was holding a Russia-Africa forum in St. Petersburg, which at the level of heads of state was ignored by most African presidents, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine Dmytro Kuleba made his third tour of African countries. For the first time in the history of bilateral diplomatic relations, the head of Ukrainian diplomacy visited Liberia. Dmytro Kuleba discussed Russia's aggression against Ukraine and its consequences for international peace and security with the president of the country, George Weah. Liberia strongly condemned Russia's war against Ukraine and expressed its readiness to join efforts to implement the Ukrainian peace formula.
We support Ukraine now because at one time the Ukrainian contingent from the UN mission supported peace in Liberia. George Weah, president of Liberia, from a statement on the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine.
Qatar is ready to assist in the return of Ukrainian children illegally taken to Russia by the invaders. It would join the implementation of the Ukrainian peace formula, the president of Ukraine said following talks with the Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Qatar. The parties discussed the need to unblock the work of the grain corridor to resume supplies of Ukrainian grain.
We discussed the situation with the Black Sea Grain Initiative. It is very important that there are no shortages and crises provoked by Russia on the world food market. This is a matter of global stability.
In the near future, Qatar will provide Ukraine with $100 million in humanitarian aid and $20 million to provide food to African countries.
As part of our humanitarian duty to the Ukrainian people and continuing our humanitarian efforts, the Prince is announcing $100 million to help alleviate the humanitarian situation in Ukraine. The money will be used to restore health and education infrastructure, provide drinking water and demine areas.
On July the 26th, the Italian Senate recognized the Holodomor as a genocide of the Ukrainian people. This decision was supported by 130 deputies.
I am grateful to the Italian Senate for recognizing the 1932-1933 Holodomor as genocide of the Ukrainian people. This important step restores historical justice, honors millions of victims, and warns future generations against the crime of genocide. Dmytro Kuleba, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on Twitter.
On July the 27th, Ukraine-EU political consultations took place in Kyiv. The main attention was paid to the implementation of Ukraine's course towards joining the European Union and strengthening cooperation in the field of security. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Natalia Husak, Volodymyr Shtengelov, UATV News.